All right, welcome in everybody to the next edition of the High Velocity Racing League podcast. We're joined this afternoon by Mr. Sam Moser, Mr. Matt Chase, Mr. Bryce Fontaine, and Mr. Sean Happy. How you gentlemen doing this evening?
Great.
Let's ask Happy first. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Bryce is joining us remote this evening.
Yeah, buddy. Getting a little bit of early practice in before the race tonight.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you drove down to Daytona to do it? Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen
there's nothing better than the real thing. Yeah, hey.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, though, right?
Got to read the pit strategy.
Exactly. Well, we got a lot to jump into. It was a lot to cover this week, but before I dive into it, I usually kind of like to touch on real world. Anybody catch the COTA race for NASCAR?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch should have had that shit, man.
Yeah, man. I was, for the first time in my life, I think I actually was pulling for Kyle Busch to win.
Well, your non-driving wife supporting Denny Hamlin ran out of talent.
Yeah. Oh my God. Been listening to his podcast when he was talking about, I was like, oh, I pulled out from behind Dylan. There was dirt on the track. And I was like, oh no. I was like, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Did you hear the comment that was made actually? The guy goes, yeah, I asked Gibbs if he was, because he was on the box with us, and he said, or he asked him, what's worse, the three fenders or the lack of talent on road courses? And he said 50-50.
Oh
Nice.
man, that's
Bryce?
brutal for the boss man. Ooh,
Is it already dark over there, Bryce?
Yeah, man.
Holy cow!
Tennessee, homie.
No, is that much of a difference? Just that far away, we still got sunlight out here. That's crazy.
the European mind cannot comprehend.
I think the biggest thing that really pissed me off about this weekend was the Austin Cindric penalty.
What did he get penalized for?
For intentionally right hooking Ty Dillon.
Oh, really?
That was what
Yeah.
happened to
He deserved
Dylan?
it.
Oh,
He deserved it. Dylan is his last name. He deserves it.
I don't disagree
Well-
with that, but for me, Austin Cindric should not be racing this weekend. A right hook is a right hook is a right hook. I don't give a damn if it's on a road course or short track or super speedway.
They parked Bubba
That's cool.
for a week when he hit it to Larson back in 22. So
Well, that's
They
true.
parked
That is
Chase
fair.
Elliott when they did it to Hamlin.
mhm.
The one time NASCAR is actually following up and not and staying consistent. What?
And
That's
then when they
crazy.
asked Kyle Busch about it, he says, well, I guess it makes a difference what your last name is.
Oof.
Ooh,
Ooh.
low
Ooh.
blow, man. But I
I mean,
appreciate
he's.
the comment.
He's
Not
not
wrong.
handed. No, and he's
That's
not
not
wrong.
the way it looks, because Dylan ended up getting a $50,000 fine and a 50-point penalty.
I mean,
Good.
Ross Chastain
No,
is
that was Cindric
my
that got
favorite
that.
driver, but
Cindric, sorry, not
I'm
Dylan.
surprised
Sorry, Cindric.
Chastain did not get one either. Honestly,
But
Nah,
that wasn't
that's
a right
just-
hook.
That wasn't a right
Yeah.
hook. That was just running out of talent early in the race.
100%
first
correct.
quarter.
But his
But
comment or lack thereof was BS in my opinion. I
yeah,
never saw that. They asked him like, "Hey, what happened on turn 1 with Chase Elliott?" No comment.
I knew that him and Chase had a little bit of beef, like Chase Elliott, but I didn't
Yeah,
expect
what's up, Matt?
Dude,
Coming
I
for
saw
you.
it happen.
I'm coming for you Sunday.
Dude, I saw it happen, and I just watched it, and I'm like, oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
I
was
knew it was
more
going to
sad
happen.
that-
Yeah, but fantasy wise though, that was
I was upset that Connor Zillich got taken out. I
Yeah.
felt like he had a real shot at doing double duty and winning both, but unfortunately that
had him in
incident
my
with
lineup.
Oh
I
yeah,
had
how
it
is-
I do.
so that screwed
Yeah.
me, yeah, because it was
How
already
is that
after
going
the
over there,
second
Mike?
stage. Or,
That's why I was pulling up because let's see, we got who's Squidbilly 54.
No idea.
Anybody know?
No idea.
54. You would think that's Post, is that not?
It might be. That's,
No, Post is somebody else, I think.
Oh, is he?
Is he? What did he
I have no
say?
idea.
Because Cornwell's in here, but he's Randy 22, so that makes sense. Is he XM Rink?
I have no idea.
I think that might be posed.
Oh, my NASCAR app has to
later
update.
on.
Otherwise, I would have known. Darn.
But Squid Billy, whoever Squid Billy is, congrats to you. Finished first place with 208 points. Chris Weiniger finished in second with 198. I was in third with 179. Zach Taylor, 176. King Trade 2114 was in fifth with 174. Big Daddy Chastain fan came in sixth, and looks
I
like
wonder who that could be.
It's not who you think it is.
He's a loser, whoever he is.
Because Matt
says
is
the
on
Giggles
here,
fan.
Yeah, three-way tie for seventh.
I'm just playing, Bryce.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. All respect, buddy.
Well, where are you,
Yeah,
Mike?
Another driver.
I finished last week with third. Currently, overall, I'm in fifth. Chris is leading first place with 539 points.
Oh,
Matt's tied for third at 456. Pac-Man is in second at 462.
all right.
Who's Pac-Man?
Pac-Man PJ. No, sure, not sure.
Pac-Man PJ, yeah, I don't remember. That's one thing I really wish I could just click on the name and get some information, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, well,
Well, what do y'all want to get
we'll move
into?
on.
We got Cup last week and pre-race this week. We can get into Xfinity, or we can get into the always fun truck series that wasn't that much fun last week.
Yeah, let's
I
go
say-
ahead. Normally, I like to save ours for last, but let's just get that garbage out of the way.
Let's get the yeah.
Yeah, so
Let's get
last
the
week
shit
we raced right down the road from Chris
We
Price
didn't.
and I.
No, that's.
Nashville Fairgrounds.
Let me.
You're right. We did not race.
We raced.
Didn't race.
Yeah, about to say.
We
Let me
showed up.
fact check
We
already.
paced.
We paced.
I told
Yeah.
Sean on the way from taking my wife to and from work, I would flick off the track for him on my way home.
Well, what was funny today, I drove by it and I was like, man, I got my phone out. I'm like, it's going to be hilarious. I'm going to get the yellow light out here and I'm going to take a picture and post it in the group and say, look, Fairgrounds is still under caution. But as I drove up to it, the light never turned yellow at all. It stayed green. As I went by, I was like, well, that was the longest green I ever seen at the Fairgrounds.
Boo.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, it was.
What did we end
While
up
we
with
had
caution count-wise?
like 27,
Oof.
102 laps of
Yeah.
like 164. And now, granted, every time Will hits the caution, it says it's another caution. So if we had to extend it, that added another caution. I think there was like 28, 27, 29. So we'll just say 24, 25. A whole bunch.
Yeah,
Too
it
damn
says,
many.
Yeah.
says
Way too
29.
many. I know I said it in the Discord. I really wish we would have given this track its due, because I felt like it was going to be a real good track if we could have got at least a few really good stints.
It was
on
so
Yeah, that
fun.
setup. The setup was really good for it too. You know.
Oh, geez, this guy.
It was
I mean,
it was better
it was
before
great.
it changed.
I did like it. I mean, it seemed like a really fun track. I mean, those 6 laps that we did get in green, I was having a blast.
Right?
Yeah,
we ended going
so
around 164 times, and 102 of them were under caution.
yeah, that was
I-24 simulator, baby. Come on.
New
Yeah, I
high score.
I almost pissed myself when you said that. I knew not many other people were going to get it, other than those that live in the Nashville area. When he said that, I was like, "Oh, that is unfortunately extremely accurate." Yeah, but
so, but
Sanborn,
yeah,
ended up taking it.
another winner for 10 races and 9 different winners. Man, this is getting kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Right?
I mean, that's something that's going to happen with the large fields that we have, though. I mean, somebody's going to have a track that they're really good at, that they're going to surprise some people. Granted, he's been showing pace anyway, but you know, we're going to have a lot of winners in a situation like that. Somebody's going to have a track that they're really good at, and they're going to surprise us.
It is,
Or
and then
just-
not to mention, it's just the parity in the top, 10 or 15 guys. I mean, we all know who kind of they are, and it's just a whole lot of parity. Nobody's just way better than the next guy.
Yeah, I think you nailed the nail on the head exactly just then. And it's like you said, it's extremely close from Hell, looking at it right now, let's see, from 17.
And you can always have some
tied.
crazy stuff happen right
All
before the
right.
white flag comes out
You
on
are
lap 4.
you are going to the Outlook. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. You got from 6th. You got Chris in 4th with 284. Then, Chase is pretty much it's 259.
Yeah.
So, we're thinking, what is that, 25-point difference from 4th to
Yeah.
12th?
Yeah, 25
Yeah.
points.
You too.
So, like that, I know it shook a lot of things up because a lot of the top guys missed.
We had a couple of originals.
Bloodworth missed. Tucker didn't make it, did he? Tucker, George, I think missed.
Yeah,
I think he
Tucker
did.
didn't. George didn't.
George didn't go.
And
You said
Bloodworth.
Bloodworth didn't go. So I mean, yeah, there's
Yeah.
Wilder
Johnson-
Did Wilder end up having a bad race too? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he
Yes,
got mowed a
yes,
couple times.
yes, very
I
bad.
got-
He got
hoed it.
mollywopped.
I got hoed out there a couple of times too. So I finished like probably 30th, I think, 28th to 30th, somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
Wilder got mollywopped, dude. It was if there was a wreck, he was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was so
I felt
bad.
the same
We all know Hunter Jacques got the pole, and after that first caution, Bryce never did see it on the broadcast because it switched away, and he never did get to talk about it. But Hunter Jacques, just during one of those pacing laps, I think he was going to check up for the pace car, and going in the corner, and his car just took an immediate right and collected, I think, Wilder and Nava, and destroyed his truck.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
y'all
didn't see
noticed that in practicing, but it was like after 12 laps, if you tweaked the wheel at all to the right, it was going to grip and go.
yeah. So it took out a few guys up top. They had to battle their way back, and Wilder just got caught up, it seemed like, in everything, so he wasn't able to come on the way back.
Yeah.
Although Camberton
There
went to the
was-
back, and he was up there quick. But by the time he got his ZOL, he was, I think, he got like 13th, because that's all that was on the lead lap when he got that. So
Dude, the funniest thing was, I don't know how long KT was in the pits, but I know he was there forever. He finally gets back in his truck and gets it back out on track, comes out of the pit road,
God.
and immediately got wiped clean out. I felt so bad, but it was actually so funny to watch. on the
that's exactly what I was
broadcast.
going to say. I felt
Yeah.
bad, but I also was laughing, like, just on a
Yeah, it was
lug.
just-
He's just trying to come
was
out and
terrible
join,
timing.
and there's just
He
two
needs to
people.
get a rabbit's foot. Like he
It-
must be
it was a-
walking under a lot of ladders or having
Right?
a lot of black hats cross his path because the guy just can't catch a break.
Because it wasn't like he hopped up in front of somebody. There was a spin behind him, and they spun uncontrollably into him. It was
Right.
just damn.
That was the story of the whole race, though. I mean, it was
Well,
like
right.
every 2 laps, just somebody accident, and here we go again.
Well, with the bottom end, you're looking at Mike down there with 269, and Randy Post that has left the league. So he's in 11th at 260, so he's going to be dropping out. And there's Matthew Chase and Nava.
Yep.
Of course, he says he
Yeah.
quits every week and then joins up the next race. So I guess he's still in.
Just can't get enough,
He
man.
can't get enough. He just
Oh, yeah.
Caught the bug.
he did.
Got to get that truck racing crack.
So between
Like
Nava.
that crazy ex we all used to have. As much as we hate her, sometimes we just kept coming back.
Well,
Well,
I
between
ended up marrying
Nava,
mine,
Door. Oh, well, that's
I was
good.
about to say your wife's not in the car yet, is she?
No, she's been dropped off at a private location.
Okay, there you go. I was like, he's going to talk about ex-girlfriends. Okay.
Well, no, like Moser said, I ended up marrying the one that I kept coming back to. So
My wife stalked me for years, and eventually she got me to talk to her.
I can see
see,
that,
I have
Mike.
a hard time believing that anybody would stalk you.
100%.
Wow.
ooh,
Right after I
Ooh.
slap your mama, I will get my wife and have her admit to you.
Like, you don't gotta slap my mama. We'll just get Sean to drive in front of you, and you'll end up crashing yourself out anyway.
Touche.
Oh man, the blows are coming quick and fast. Oh man. Whew.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna take the higher road. I'm gonna let that one
We
slide.
have got
Don't take the high road because your truck will probably be in the air again next week too.
Yeah. There's. Go ahead. What other one you got? You want to talk about
Maybe not
Atlanta?
next week. At least wait till Charlotte.
Come on, let's
I
get
mean,
the
we're
Atlanta
at-
jab. Let's get the Atlanta jab out of there so we can get this out of the way.
Well, I'm just saying, if this isn't even to Mike, if you hit them tire barriers hard enough, as we saw with David Beecham, you will catch air.
He'll fly. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. That's actually what we were talking about while we were waiting to start this. Was last week at the fairgrounds. Matt had a damaged front and couldn't turn left, and he was trying to get in the pit and hit the tire barrier, and somebody was coming in pits behind him, and he just buckshot right in the dude's grill. And I am really worried about this week of following too close of somebody going into the back stretch chicane and them hitting the wall and just ricocheting.
Right. That is always an issue. But you're speaking about this week, and like I said, Wilder, he's in 9th, but he's probably gonna have a good day. There's you in 10th at 269, so you're just not, 10 points behind Matthew Chase. So
And that's
and
what
Nava,
happens when you miss a race.
Yep.
Don't count me out.
Nava's decent. I know Dora's decent, and KT's pretty decent on road courses. So this next 2 races is gonna be interesting. And same with me and Cornwell up top. So I mean, we're only 4 points separate. So
He just had to throw that in, didn't he? Me and Cornwell up top.
I have to talk about all of it. It's part of the close chase race.
For sure.
I'm trying to make it in.
So for this week,
close. I
four
feel it.
points separating the regular season championship. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
So it'll
And that's
be
25
fun.
bonus points.
It is 25 stage bonus points, and
that's a good amount.
I'm hoping to get a few stage points and just finish okay, and just finish better than Cornwell is all I can hope, and just keep it close for Charlotte. And I'm not super great at Charlotte, but
I just want to make it in, man. I can taste it. I know if I have 2 really good weeks, I think it's a possibility.
You have to have 2 good weeks, and the 8 in front of you has to just not show up.
He's only 40 out.
Hey,
He's only 40 out.
I'm only 40 off, man. I mean, I'm so close.
And one of those people in front of him is Randy Post, who's not racing with us anymore.
Well, that's true.
This is true.
And Grady is missing this week, so I mean, you're gonna jump Grady. You're
gonna what to Grady?
He's gonna hump Grady.
Does he know about this?
Look out, Grady! Watch out, buddy! I'm coming. Hey,
this is a PG
Well,
podcast.
Well, Bobby is gonna come back with that sweet tan from the Bahamas.
God, what is happening right now?
Chaos.
This is been devolving.
From Bobby.
Oh, geez.
So we have Kendon. I don't even know if Kendon signed in this week. Did he? He might have. Anyway, but you're only a
He
couple
might have.
points down. But yeah, you do have a chance. I mean, you finished pretty good last week.
I got a 10th, and then the week before 13th.
It would have been
And that's
better if
all
you
on
weren't so
IPL, so-
aggressive.
What do you mean?
Last week would have been better if you weren't so aggressive.
Well,
And-
I was. Hey, man, I was trying to go for the
you'd
W.
You'd be in 16th probably.
It was my fault, and we both could have gotten a top 3. So I do apologize. That was my bad.
A
I
top
overdrove.
5, but that's all
top
right.
4. Oh. Hey, we don't know what happened. Anything could have happened, Sean. We had 1 lap.
I was just trying not to
Kendon is
lose
registered
ground.
for this race tomorrow.
Okay.
I know.
Go ahead and go over the top 5 though, Mike, of the Nashville Fairgrounds, and then we can move on if you like. Unless there's anything else to talk about, unless you want to talk about team points, but nobody cares about those.
Yeah, who is leading in teams though? Do we have a graphic for that or anything? Is that yet?
I could pull that
another
up for you.
outstanding week for Team KMW. Yes.
It was outstanding week. I didn't know y'all were gonna just remove and poach players, man. I didn't know y'all had your scouts out all year long.
We didn't remove anybody, sir. We had a vacancy.
Oh.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there's the team points there.
Yeah, so
KW
points after last week. That's exactly right, man. So we're up top with 1024, followed by CTS Motorsports at 905. Regulator Racing at 821. Shell Shockers are in 4th with 778. And the Misfits round out the top 5 at 700. If you're below that, just keep trying. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
So for the race, as for the race, Camburn took the checkered flag, followed by Eugene Hawk. Third place was Ryan Seabolts. Good for him. Fourth, Chris Weiniger. Good job, buddy. And fifth, Randy made a fiery comeback and finished P5 for Mr. Cornwell.
Well, it's a good finish for Randy, and I didn't know. I'm just now noticing that Chris had such a good finish. I guess I didn't really pay attention to that. That's good for him.
Oh yeah.
I'm super happy for him, but the biggest thing though was when you two got together. I was also spinning the back. That's when I didn't realize the damage that I had. I went around. I think coming around, I was either third or fourth when I spun and finished 13th. So that sucked.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. I was like fourth or fifth, I thought, and when me and Moser got into it, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was kind of surprised by this Seabolt guy because he's only been here for a couple of weeks, hasn't he? He raced in. Did he race? He raced in.
He
Texas.
raced Texas. I want to say he was pretty quick there too. So, but
Yeah,
coming up.
That's Patrick's coworker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's funny.
Just found that out.
Yep. I think that was him I was racing next to, and I hollered at him, told him we had some good racing there, or maybe that was in Texas. I can't remember, but no. I'm pretty sure it was 00.
It was last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Me and him race real good side by side, so he's a good, clean racer. I'm glad to see him get a podium there.
Yeah.
So,
we're done talking about that. Let's never speak of that race again.
Yes, ever. I guess we can knock out Charlotte real quick, then we can go to Xfinity since we have a Roval. How are you guys feeling about the Roval?
I mean, really, I think the main thing is just going to be staying clean and not getting in any trouble with damage wise or trying to stay on the track. But I'm not feeling particularly fast, but I'm feeling consistent. So we'll see.
Consistency
is the good thing.
Consistency is key because I know some of these guys are running 116.9s, 117s. I just feel like that's going to be really hard to stay consistently.
You can't keep up there for long.
Fast and be safe because one mess up and you are getting towed on this track. So I feel like it'll benefit you to be steady and clean.
Yeah. Because I found that the danger areas really, like the infield, I feel pretty solid on. But the chicanes will come up on you fast, and those walls are brutal. And then also turn one, when you're coming up on it after going through that infield or the front chicane, that it can really, like, if you're going, because it's easy to hit the limiter in second gear, you got to be really careful and hit the brake hard because you need to take that corner way slower than you'd think.
Definitely want to qualify good to try to stay out of that. Maybe push it the first couple laps, get some separation, and just put it on cruise control, man. Just wait on everybody else to make the mistakes is all I can suggest. I ain't gonna keep up. I ain't gonna keep up with those 117s. So my best lap was 118, and there's no way I can do that more than 2 or 3 laps, and I'll be eating wall.
I'm gonna be a tortoise and hope that the hares wreck themselves out.
Yeah, exactly.
I promise you will see some top guys out of the race. I will almost guarantee you that.
I was on the track with Hawk and with Tucker when they set their respective 116s and 117s, and they both admitted like that's just going to be a perfect qualifying lap. That's not going to be race pace.
Right.
So I think they understand that as well, just trying to see what was possible. And after, I ran a few laps with them, and then the other night when I ran some with you, Happy, and with Bryce, and I picked up a lot of tips. It's just crazy because the times were very similar to what Bryce was running compared with Hawk when he set his fastest lap. But the approach to all the turns were extremely different.
Gears and turns, braking zones, right? All that. Yep.
Everything was different. Gears, everything. But it was it's impressive to see that it's matching the driver's style. So
yeah, I want to say Bryce mentioned something like that last time we had a road course in Xfinity. I think on Coda, I think he said because they're about the same lap times, but there was just such different entries and exits on them. So
exactly, I think everybody needs to run their race.
Yeah, you can run 2 laps, have them be off a 10th, and the laps look completely different as well. I think kind of how we put it, and it's entirely right. I mean, we saw it even this past week with the Xfinity race, which we'll talk about. The same thing. I mean, people were getting similar lap times, but they were running completely different laps. So that's just what road racing feels like in these stock cars. You mean anybody can get a quick lap, but it's all about how you get there, and tire wear is going to be pretty important, I think.
So what do you
Yeah,
feel
the
like
tire wear is for real.
for this Roval there, Matt? Then I'll get to you, Moser.
What do I think?
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about
Oh,
this
I'm
week?
gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be a tortoise and let the hares go out there and do what they want to do. Um, I'm gonna approach this kind of the same way I approached the Kansas road course. If I get a top 20, I'll be happy. If I get better, I'm gonna be ecstatic.
I mean, there's only looking like there's going to be 27. Are you still shooting for a top 20?
Shooting for a top 15.
There you go. There you go. Moser, how about you? You've been putting in some practice, man.
Oh yeah, I've been practicing all week. I want to make playoffs. That's my number one goal. So my number one goal for this one is just, I'm still on IPL, so I'm gonna have to start from the back, which is fine. Especially since I don't get an EOL at the end of stages.
Mm-hmm.
So I really would like to get some stage points if possible and make my way up to the top. But I don't know if that's gonna be possible. We'll just have to see how it goes. And
Well, it's all right. I mean, stage points means nothing unless you can make it in. So your first
Right.
priority is to get in there first.
Get to the end of the race for sure. And
Right.
so, my top goal would be top 10, of course. That's what I'm shooting for. But I'm not going to be fast. I'm just hoping to be consistent enough that I can pass people that wreck out or make mistakes, and hopefully not make too many myself is really all I can hope for, because I'm not particularly fast. I think my best time so far is like a 120 flat, basically.
I
If the
feel like
Kansas-
I
I say if
feel
the
like
Kansas-
119s, 120s later on in a race. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good race lap, to be honest with you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
But after tire
I
wear,
think it'll
though,
be lower.
tire wear kicks in after like 5 laps, and then I'm going. You're going like 125s almost for me at least. I don't know. That's how I've been feeling.
The other
I'd
thing
say
about it,
averaging around 122.
you're averaging around 122.
No, I think that's what the actual race pace is going to end
Oh,
up
okay.
being, with everybody being around each other.
Yeah,
Because you also got to take that into account, until we get strung out.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say that it's gonna be interesting early on to see who gets involved in stuff. It's a lot easier to damage your truck, especially going into the infield and coming out of the infield. That wall is not forgiving at all. You can get wheel damage real easy by hitting that one. And yeah, I think the first handful of laps, people pushing a little hard to try to get strung out, that's where you're going to see some issues going in, or coming off of turn number 1 and coming out of the infield. Those two are going to be really difficult corners. And then, of course, the dreaded backfield, or the backstretch chicane. That's going to be. I just can't imagine a world where somebody doesn't headlong into that wall and just, yeah, it's going to be scary.
Or when you hit that turtle just wrong, it'll kind of get you loose and shoot you into that outside wall too, coming out
Yep.
of it, if you miss
Yep.
that inside wall. So, yeah, you could really make up a lot of time on your lap there. I know if I put a first quality lap down that's decent, I'm going to send it through that back chicane.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, right. And just see what I can do. Mike, how you think you're going to fare this week, man?
I am hoping for a top 10. That's kind of where I think I could end up at. It's like everybody has been saying, it's going to be about consistency and not screwing up. And I think the first 2 laps of this race is going to be the most crucial of being mindful of who and what's around you.
Absolutely,
Yeah, since we're not going to have yellows, that's going to be the only time we are 100% all going to be next to each other. We're going to need to get that distance, but I feel cautiously optimistic. Tonight's going to be my long several hours worth of getting seat time in. But from what I've been seeing, what I've been learning from, guys who are very good at road courses, it's taught me a lot, but I need to implement that into what feels comfortable for me, because the more I try to do what others do, that's where I really start screwing stuff up. And it's just making it all fit, but I don't feel uncomfortable.
I
Mhm.
definitely love all the practice people are putting on, and everybody that's it feels like everybody's trying to get practice in. So that is really good to
It makes
see.
a difference.
Say shout out to you.
Really does.
Shout out to Eugene putting up 2 different
Yes,
practice
for sure.
sessions. We appreciate that a
Yes.
lot, buddy.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Fuel's
Not,
going to be an issue. I think I put it at
yeah, we were talking about that
38%,
today.
and it looks like there's going to be about 12 and a half laps per tank at 38%.
Mhm. Yep.
So
Never,
stages at what 9 and 19 or something like that, 10 and 19 maybe,
Let me see.
let's see.
I'm looking right now. It's
and
gonna
38
be
total. So you'd have to
at 10 and 19.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 and 19. Yep.
yeah. So I mean, you could go for stage points, maybe not take tires, maybe take tire. I mean, so there should be quite a bit of little strategy in there as well. Maybe someone can save and only have to make 2 stops, maybe not.
Well,
That'd
it's
be pretty
nice
damn
when you
impressive.
don't have to always be pacing, and you can actually have full green flag runs and see what kinds of different strategies you have versus
Right.
last week, which we weren't going to mention again, but kind of
Yeah.
poster
Stop it.
child of unfortunates.
Well, let's go
Right.
into our. We haven't done this in a while. I don't know why we got away from it. Let's do our picks of the week. Who's winning this week at the Roval?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what y'all got to say about this because
Oh,
are
I
we going to see a second 2-time winner or are we getting another newbie?
That's kind of what I was. That's
It's
where I
going to
was
be a
trying to
second
decide.
2-time winner. I feel
You
like
think?
I feel like it's between 2, and I feel like they've each won 1, and I think Tucker's going to run away with it. I just feel like
Yeah.
I know Hawk's fast, but Tucker is a proven road course guy. I follow behind him. I haven't got to watch Hawk. All I can go off is what I've seen, and Bryce Tucker. I don't feel like I've seen him make a whole lot of mistakes on the road course that I was on the track with him with. So that's my
All
pick.
right, so Happy's going with Tucker. Sam?
Oof. I wish I had known that this question was going to come up, because then I would have researched like how everybody did at Kansas and stuff. But I mean, Eugene Hawk has been, since he's joined the league, been super super strong, and going in practice with him, he was looking pretty fast and he was looking pretty good. So I'm kind of tempted to take him just because I don't want to do the same thing, because I do feel like Bryce Tucker is extremely skilled at road courses, and he was looking very fast and very good. But anything could happen. So I think, oh man, I think Travis George is also pretty good at road courses? Is he not? He did pretty good at Kansas, didn't he? Did anybody remember?
Travis, I just pulled it up. I was trying to see. I
So
think Travis missed it.
the top 5 was Tucker, Happy, Wilder, Camburn, and Nava. But Tucker and Happy were leagues above everybody else. I think you guys were like 40 to 50 seconds ahead of Wilder. And Wilder was on pit strategy, I'm pretty sure, at that point, too. Camburn and Nava, I don't know. I don't remember how close they were together. So that was the top 5 anyway.
Yeah, Travis
I'm gonna go with
make the race.
I'm gonna go with Hawk. I think with what I've seen, I think he looks fast, and I think he has the potential to do it if he can stay clean and keep that speed up throughout the whole run. So I'll go with Hawk. I think he's shown a lot of very good skill. So I feel pretty confident with that one.
All right, Happy's gonna take Tucker. Sam's got Hawk. Matt, who you got?
Do we have to? Can we pick the same people? That's the first question
Sure.
I got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can pick whoever. I just wanted to do something different, just because I feel like Tucker is very, very high up there.
I'm just looking at like race results. Since Hawks joined, he's got a first, a fourth, and a second.
Yeah.
He's quick.
He's dominant.
It's got to be Hawk. And I saw the lap that he put down in the practice session. I think it ended up being a 1:15.
Yeah.
In that practice session that first one he did.
No,
If that's the case,
that
and
was
he can get out
Andre.
front, get away from everybody, and he can. I know he said that obviously that's a Q lap. You're not going to be running that for the full race. But if he's got that in his bag and he knows he can run that lap, if he can get away from everybody and put himself in a position where he can stretch that lead out, he's going to be in a good position to win this race. And I think that's going to be another 2-time race winner here.
If he has good pit strategy too, that's going to be big as well, though, with this race.
Who'd you pick, Moser? I had to step away for a second.
Moser and I both picked Hawk.
Okay. Well, there's Mike left, right? And Bryce.
Yeah. So honestly, I thought go with a dark horse, and I was gonna pick Happy because I
Don't do
knew the
that.
time and the effort that he put in for
Mm-mm.
Kansas, and I
Mm-mm.
knew
Mm-mm.
But-
Not full of food.
but after racing with this guy door to door, was super clean, very respectful, and he's obviously good. He's very fast everywhere he's been thus far. And after seeing the sessions that he hosted, I also agree that this is going to be Hawks' race to lose.
Oof. Wow.
Tucker is the only person I think that can touch him right now, based on what
I
I've
agree.
seen from laps. So
Absolutely.
if it's not Hawk, it will be Tucker. I think.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. Yeah, if they can, as long as they can stay clean and nothing crazy, like they're racing door to door and they take each other out, that would be crazy. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But you never know.
Like
All
I
I'm
said,
saying is, Bryce Tucker and Eugene Hawk are getting into each other. They're wrecking. My money's on Sean Happett. Come on, baby.
No.
Okay.
No, you need to put it on Wilder before me and probably
Wilder.
Camber.
Happy.
Yeah, before that.
Happy.
No, my money's
I am
still on
in,
you.
No.
You gotta
I'm
have the
interested to see.
confidence, Happy. You gotta have that. You gotta have that Riz going on
yeah,
there, buddy.
have that cockiness you had after Dover.
That's the problem with
Yeah.
all you young kids. You think you can do everything. See, us old school, we know our limitations. I ain't winning this.
there you go.
Just setting yourself up to fail. You gotta have that alpha dog mentality there, Happy. Come on, man.
No,
Sean,
I
have you
don't.
never heard? Have you
He
never
said if
heard
you
the
don't
quote,
set a
Sean?
goal, you're going to be disappointed.
Have you never heard the quote? Those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right.
Exactly. Amen. I
Well,
live by that mentality.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best to be steady and clean and keep pace. And if they wreck out, maybe. But
Hey,
I still to compete with Camburn was good at Kansas too. I think he got like fourth or something. Wilder.
He got fourth. Yeah.
Wilder's going to be
got,
up there too.
Wilder got
should be good,
third.
and
But
I'm-
remember what I said. You and Bryce Tucker were so far ahead of everybody at
That's what I was about
Kansas.
to say. Third and fourth looks great on the scorecard, but when you're 20 seconds behind first and
It
second,
was more than that. It was
Right.
like 40 seconds, I think.
43 seconds was third place.
Yeah.
Listen,
there you go.
listen, that was a lot less technical than this.
Yeah, there was 8 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah,
Well,
this,
sorry,
is,
6 cars.
this is a whole different animal than Kansas Road. And I,
Yes, for sure.
Not to mention, we still got that hard wall coming into the infield and coming out of the infield. Bryce, you actually brought it up in a after Most Sport. We were just kind of looking at the track and looking at a lap on the track and everything, and you said that those two walls are going to be dangerous for this race.
we will see some kill trucks by that wall.
I believe it. Yeah.
I think we're going to see
My
quite a bit of
main
towing.
2 hot spots are the two chicanes right now. Those are kind of my 2 problem areas. If I can iron those down, I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, let me
Well-
ask you this question: do you guys typically see that short track racers are typically pretty decent at road courses?
Eh.
Yeah.
It depends.
I just
It
think
really depends on just like
the
I mean-
the wheel work and the throttle modulation and pumping brakes, and I think they have some similarities.
it helps
I think it's
because I mean I have
yeah.
a dirt racing background. That's kind of where I come from, and so a lot
See,
of
so there you go.
saving it coming out of the corners if it starts to get loose on you is kind of more
Yeah,
something that is a little more
so that should work in your favor.
natural for that. But I mean, which has saved me a couple times in practice, but it's still tricky. And I think the number one thing that really helps is just practice. I mean, if you
Right.
just do, I mean, let's say hypothetically you could do 1,000 laps in a week of practice. I think you'd be leagues ahead of somebody that did 100 and came from short track racing. I mean, it's really
Sure.
comes down to experience and your background. But I mean, I think that it does help, but it just depends on where you put yourself
Okay.
in
Yeah,
situation
That's fair.
wise.
it's definitely
So I asked that
100%
question.
seat time. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Mike. Sorry.
Right. So I asked that question because we didn't get to get a sample because Travis George missed the road course at Kansas. But Travis knew he wasn't going to be able to make last week's race. So this is almost 2 straight weeks. Travis has been practicing for the Roval, and he's damn good at short tracks. He was a
Dude,
little bummed that his son's birthday
I'm telling you,
was
Mike,
on the fairgrounds
that
race.
was remember when I brought him up?
Yeah.
I was thinking about him, dude. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about Travis George. I mean, I'm thinking he could be up there too. I
Will you
legitimately
tell
do
us,
think
Mike?
that.
Is he good or what?
Well, like I
He's
said, I didn't
good.
get to make team practice last night because yesterday was my wife's birthday,
Oh,
so I didn't get to see it.
Did you set it
So
up?
from I didn't, Chris did. But what I heard was Travis is looking pretty good, and he's feeling confident. So I think
Maybe I need to change my
Yeah.
change my choice. I don't know because I was originally
too
thinking
late.
Travis
It's locked.
George.
It's
Here-
locked.
here's the thing. I definitely I could see there being correlation between those two, maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, first and foremost, like Sean said, it's all about seat time, regardless of what discipline, short track, long track, hell, even super speedways. I mean, we saw it in the cup race that there was a 5-car breakaway. That doesn't just happen for no reason, right? So I definitely think that there are inputs that you can learn by doing a certain discipline, but road course racing is something totally different than anything else we do on the schedule. Completely different. Especially
Right.
it'd be one thing if we were driving NASCARs and then we go to a road course on a GT3 or something like that, which obviously that's still a skill set of itself, but driving a GT3 around the Daytona road course versus driving a stock car around the Daytona road course,
good.
two totally different things, right? Because we
Mhm.
see guys like KT and I believe Wilder and I can't remember who else did the 24-hour, but it's totally different how you have to manipulate the car. And Mike, you know, we can kind of attest to it. Not to pick on you a little bit, but we saw it. Was it last night that we were doing practice? Whatever day it was that we were doing practice, you were
Wednesday.
running the same line as me, and you were braking at the same points as I was, but you weren't able to make the corner in some spots because you weren't manipulating the car in the right way. I think that's
Mhm.
something that does hold true across road racing, but especially when you're in 35 to 4,000 pound stock cars that don't have as much aero and downforce as something like a GT3 car or a GTP or whatever. So,
Right.
to Moser's point, like I do think there are other disciplines that, like, I come from a drifting background. You know what I mean? Like when I started really getting into cars and into quote unquote sim racing, drifting is what I did. So, you know, when Moser talks about having that car control, you know, I went back and watched the broadcast from Mosport, and there were a couple corners that I was pretty sideways compared to some people coming out of the corner, but I feel comfortable doing that. And so I think ultimately what it comes down to is just seat time. And the biggest thing that I think would help drivers, regardless of what discipline, and I know I'm a fan of super speedways, but I would even exclude, no, I wouldn't exclude super speedways from this. Either way, the biggest thing that guys need to learn, and I don't even know if it's something that really can be learned to an extent, is just car control. And what I mean by that is knowing what the car is going to do before the car does it. That's
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. Like, okay, if I feel this, the car is doing this. If I feel that, the car is doing that. And it's just, you know, it's there's so many intricacies that go into it. And I just think, again, learning that car control is really ultimately what is going to set a lot of these guys apart over the course of the long haul. Again, regardless of what type of track or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of that, why don't we go ahead and get into Mo Sport there for you, Mr. Bryce, the winner of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, that'd be it.
You got it right. You got it right.
Whatever that there Canadian, I don't know, America.
Damn commies.
Uh oh.
Nice.
Ray's not gonna like that.
Side of YouTube, brother.
We're sorry, Ray.
They're not Canadian
Fuck
owned.
It
Well,
looked like a fun race.
you know,
Watching it.
yeah, I had fun. I didn't get any practice in hardly this week. Any free time I got, I was trying to do Charlotte Roval because, you know, I'm out of it. Just joined for fun here on Xfinity. But I was starting to get it before I got caught up in some trouble. I was starting to post better and better laps as the session went on. So I think I was able to get like 20 or 30 laps in before that happened.
That shot that Anthony Hall took into that wall was so hard. He shot out of that wall like a cannon in front of you.
I think the contact with Sean was harder than the contact with Hall on the wall.
Yeah.
I seen him spin, not up, but I seen him just as he was hitting the wall. I was like, oh, okay, I'm safe. and he shot back across that almost like Meacham when he hit the wall there at that one track.
Yeah.
And
How
then you
quick
tried
he-
to seek revenge on me
The
I,
last lap.
in the same spot.
I got nervous because I know I was on the broadcast. Got me all nervous.
You were on the
Shit.
broadcast a few times.
I know somebody who was on the broadcast a lot.
Will
You.
No, I'm not even talking about me.
Ray?
The-
Ricardo?
The local Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ray Hanneman.
And
Yeah.
I was
Who
not
spent more
expecting
time-
that.
He
Yeah,
was
he spent
spinning like a
more time
ballerina.
facing the opposite direction and in the grass than he did on the track.
Oh,
He was spinning like a ballerina all over Canadian
Oof.
Tire.
Oof. Hey, at least he was out there, you know. At least he didn't, you know, back out, you know. Hey, he was out there. But
So I see you guys completed 51 laps, had three different leaders with 7 lead changes, 2 cautions for 6 laps. And Bryce took it home.
I will
Nice job,
say
buddy.
that if congrats by the way, Bryce. I mean, it was a good win. I mean, you were dominant out there, but I will say that like it's more, you know, impressive to me, you know, showing that you can at least do as many laps as all those guys out there did in those Xfinity cars, because those things are like nowhere even close to how trucks handle. I'm sure on road courses. I'm sure it's pretty rough out there.
They were a little tricky, but that setup really was good.
Was it? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Parker White did it, so I mean,
That's right.
he
That's
knows
right.
what he's doing. He knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
I had to
saw
shout
him-
him out, man. He built that for free for us in
Oh,
2
really?
days. In 2
Wow.
days. So that's why I had to show him some love, because somebody that caliber of a driver that has that amount of things going on, I kind of jokingly mentioned it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, not only
I'm
not
turning
only
that down.
not only that, he built that setup, and then they had their race for the Brazil race, for the Coke race on Tuesday night. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tuesday, and he got what, 5th? I think top
I
5.
think it
He
was
got
5th.
4th. He got
He-
4th.
Oh, did he get him for 4th?
Or no,
I
no.
knew
It was.
No, he got 5th.
It was
him and
5th, yeah.
Kligerman were going after,
No,
and I saw
no.
that was a cool battle.
Kerwin, Casey
Oh,
Kerwin.
Casey
Kligerman.
Kerwin. Casey Kerwin.
I was
My
saying,
bad,
I didn't
my
know
bad.
Kligerman got promoted or demoted down to the Coke Series.
Oh, my
Well,
bad.
that's what happened when you get DQ'd out of the truck race at Daytona, I guess.
Yeah, true story.
Damn.
Yeah, that was big
Too soon.
sad. Oof.
No,
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that track was a blast,
Kerwin.
dude. I never raced. I mean, like I said, I literally bought the track the day before just because I was busy, and you know, I've known of the track, you know, but to actually go out there and race it, and then not to keep beating the dead horn, but yeah, that setup, dude. Like I think we had Sonoma in there at first, and
yeah.
you know, Sonoma was like the closest thing that I could think of that like had elevation change and
Mhm.
had like a tighter radius course. So, but the difference, like I ran a few laps on the Sonoma set, you know, before Parker had finished our set. And when I put Parker's set in, now take it with a little bit of salt, because granted, it was probably just because I was learning the track, but I picked up like 2 seconds in my first couple laps just with the set.
Well, that probably just come because you were pegging out. You know, I mean, you're
Yeah.
chipping out on that backstretch so early, and on that
Yeah.
Sonoma, so that was killing a lot of speed, especially going in that sweep and turn. So
Yeah, but that battle, dude, I gotta say, shout out to Jose, man. Like,
yeah, it was good to watch back.
I was talking with, I think it was, I can't remember honestly if it was Ray or Will. But that was the closest, like hardest racing I've ever done at a road course ever. And to do it at a track like Mosport, where there's not a lot of wiggle room as it is anyway, it was just phenomenal. And he kept it clean. I know he had that little incident with Will, but I mean, you saw it on the broadcast. I mean, I'm pushing him through the corners. We're side drafting down the backstretch. I mean, it's just, we raced each other clean. We raced each other hard. I've been racing around Jose now for shit. I mean, I guess almost my whole iRacing quote unquote career, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, he was fast. He had pace, but I feel like I was able to capitalize on certain areas of the track, and the areas that I was able to capitalize was that double right-hander there coming down the hill and up the hill and back on the backstretch. You know, those corners that you come out to a long straightaway are the most important corners on any road course ever, because you spend the most amount of time getting up to speed. And I think that was a huge, I mean, honestly, I think both of my passes were after the straightaway.
Yep.
So yeah, I had one pass on him after turn 1, and I end up overshooting turn 2 or 3, whatever I don't know how they did it, but coming down that first hill where Sean got taken out, and I cooked it. So both my passes were made after the backstretch, and luckily I was able to capitalize it.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, the hardest part I had a problem with was after that corner that I almost took you out on, you go down the hill, that next right-hander, I don't know why, it just gave me a false sense of security, and I would take it wide. I don't know. I would go in too hot. That corner was the only one giving me a whole lot of trouble.
There was some strategy involved in it
question.
too. We had William Kern saving through that final stage as well. It was interesting whether he was going to be able to save enough, and he was able to save through that entire third stage without having to pit. So that was surprising. Bryce, you had that strategy. We talked about it in the post race as well. You kind of bailed on it with a handful of laps to go, and were able to come away with it anyway. But yeah, it was some parity there as well with the strategy calls and everything too.
Question.
Yeah, I don't. Or go ahead, Moser.
Oh, I'm just wondering if because we're getting kind of close to the wire here on before the Cup race, do we want to make picks for Xfinity and Cup for this race tonight at all? Maybe.
I mean, we can.
down for that. That's another
The
pick
session
right?
ain't gonna open till 7:35, so we have a little bit of
Oh,
time.
7:35. Okay.
Well,
so we got 10
yeah.
minutes.
Well,
Okay.
I want to keep because we don't have qualifying. I want to keep the race start time at the same time each week.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
except on road course, you can't do
7
nothing with
minutes.
that. Yeah. So, Bryce, how do you feel about Charlotte next week in the Xfinity car? Guess we can get to that real quick.
Yeah, well, real quick too, just to say, really quick, yeah, shout out to Will for making that work. I think it could have worked better for Will had the incident with Jose not happened. But yeah, I bailed on that strategy, man. There was no way, and I got to say, based off my racing style, I don't think I would have been able to save like Will because he really had to save. And I mean, I'm good at saving fuel, but that track was just so fun that I don't think I could have gone that slow and had a good time. Like, and I'm not calling Will slow, but I mean, he was literally lifting, I think, like halfway in the backstretch, and that would have killed me.
Halfway to 2/3, yeah.
Yeah, so but props to him for getting it done and a solid bounce back for him, able to come in second. But as far as Charlotte, yeah, Charlotte, man, it's interesting because it's not a tricky track, but at the same time, it can be depending on how your driving style is. I have gotten along with Charlotte pretty well. I haven't really had any experience there too much in the Xfinity car. I know we did it in the mini season last season, and I think Will and I had a really good performance until we both messed up in the pits. But I'm looking forward to it. Charlotte is a good track. There's a lot of passing opportunities. Tire wear is really important. It's our longest race of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to come into
200
play.
laps.
Fatigue,
200 laps, yeah.
yeah, just mental toughness as well. I mean, that's a long time to be locked in and focused. So we'll really see who can kind of hone it in and hold tight to it. But I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Same as our All-Star race, and I was starting to feel it at the end of that one, trying to hang on to that at the end of those 200 laps.
Yeah, we got 4 stages there too, so there's a little bit of break there, but overall, I think it's going to be a interesting race.
That is a good point. I do want to say, as far as saving, like Will did, especially on road courses, it gets, man, there's such a fine line there. When is saving? Are you going to outweigh the benefits of really just coming in for a splash? You know what I mean? Like, you really have to think about that.
So saving on a road course is a lot different than saving at an oval, in the sense of at an oval, I mean, obviously you save in the corners, right? A lot of the times when you're saving fuel at an oval, you don't really need to use the brake. That is a layer of intricacy that you get at a road course, because everything changes when you're saving fuel at a road course, because you're not carrying as much speed through the corners, or you're not, you know what I mean? So there's just so many different things that happen. And yeah, I mean, the biggest key to saving on road courses, honestly, is just I lift really early into the braking zones. Like if you're let's say you're on a straightaway and the whole straightaway is like 15 seconds long. If I'm usually braking 10 seconds into the straightaway, I might brake like 12 or excuse me, the other way, like 8 or so seconds behind, and just let the car coast. But again, everything is different when you do that. So it takes a lot of focus, and then even at an oval as well, where your whole line is different. Everything you do at the track is different when you're saving fuel. So you kind of have to adjust on the fly of how you're going to do it. And then, if we're coming up to having to save fuel for the end of the race, now you got guys coming up on you that, maybe don't have to save or saved more than you. And now you have to find that line of, I need to push to stay ahead of this guy, but I can't push too much because I'm not going to make it.
See, the problem for Will, though, was he had that incident at the start of stage 3. So because he had that incident, he was so far behind everybody, he had to either save and not pit, or he was going to be falling back, 5th, 6th place. So he was kind of strategizing in that regard, it felt like. I mean, granted, he didn't know what was going to happen through the stage. I think if he had to pit, he would have really only fallen to 3rd, maybe 4th. So at the end of the day, it wouldn't have been that bad for him, but you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you could go into that and everybody is spot on, and he could end up finishing in 5th, 6th, 7th place after having to pit. So, I mean, he felt, honestly, it kind of felt like he felt he had to do that strategy and try to make it work that way.
Heck yeah. And then this, so now we can just get on to the Cup race. So I'm sure all of us racing here. Heck, I guess it'd just be me and Bryce is racing out of this group, huh?
Yep.
But definitely looking forward to maybe getting some stage points, get the season started off well. Probably be laying in the back and try to stay out of anything going on. So, but it'll be fun to see the different strategy of the stages, because we all know these stage points are just as, if not more important than where you finish with 20 people. So.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean,
we got 19
just
issues
ask Martin
tonight.
Truex Jr. how important those are.
Right.
They're in 2018.
Well, we got 3 minutes until that lobby opens, so we'll go around this time. So, Matt, what you got for this evening?
Oh God, you had to ask. Well, Kevin Frey was quick. He put himself in the right place at the right time. Kern was good as well. He also had himself in the right position at the right time. Bryce is always good at super speedways. He and Hanneman both tied for the most laps led in the duel. Yeah.
I know who I'm going for.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Bryce, I think, on this one.
All right. Matt's got Bryce. Matt, or sorry, Sam, who you got?
Well, I gotta go with my boy because with that charisma there on the post race interview, he said,
right.
"I'm not calling out nobody because I'm gonna be up here at the end of this race," and I respect that big hardcore. My man Kevin, I got my man Kev Dog, Kevin Frey.
Kevin Frey, yeah.
Yep, he's up there. So I would normally probably pick Bryce or Ray Hanneman because those two work really well together. I know you guys do work really together. All respect, and I do expect you guys to be up there in the top 3. So, but I got to go with my man Kev Dog on this one, just because I respect the Riz.
Do I need to ask you, Bryce, who you're gonna pick?
As long as it's any one of these Eternal boys, I'm okay with it. But yeah, don't forget, who had that race won and dominated until that last race caution came out too. Us Eternal Racing boys are ready to put a show out there.
Ray, until you took him out.
Oh,
Okay.
No. Oh, shit. Here you go.
Hey, just remember, any of these other guys can banter with me about the Cup Series because they don't have to race with me.
That's true.
It's very true.
Nice. All right. Happy?
I don't know. It's just a crapshoot. Let me open up this race sign in. That's trucks.
Hit the randomize button. Hit the randomize button.
Alan Martin. That's the first guy I looked at. That's who.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Fair enough.
That's
I think David might have a good shot too. He was looking really good until that accident. That guy.
You just got to put himself in the right spot.
Yeah. I mean, it can
What
be
about you, Mike?
It's Daytona,
What about you, Mike?
I think I'm gonna go with Kern.
Solid
go.
choice. Yeah.
I think he's due. He's been feeling some frustration coming out of him. I think tonight he's gonna put that throttle down.
Yeah, he hadn't won in a minute, has he?
No, it's becoming the bridesmaid, and that's not the Kern I'm used to seeing. So I think tonight he puts himself back up top.
Yeah. So with the duel, we had talked about it in the broadcast as well. So the person who won the poll for the duel would get the second position for the race
Correct.
tonight, the start of the race
Yes.
tonight. That was Ray Hanneman who got the pole for the duel. So he'll be starting in P2 outside of Kevin Frey tonight, with William Kern starting in the third position. And Kern and Frey worked well together in the duel when they had to. So
I think
that's
Kern's
something
actually
to watch.
starting 4 because, or something. I can't remember. We had to do it weird because he said that. But either way, he'll be in row 2. Yes. So he's actually starting right behind Ray, I believe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because of how they finished. So then some people aren't here, like post drop, so we had to move everybody up. So it'll be a little different, but the grid is set. Yeah, that's it. I'm just looking forward to racing, trying to stay clean, get some points out there.
Yeah, and we do have 19 drivers tonight, so
not bad
Yep,
at all.
looks like,
Not bad at all.
looks like Mr. Grady, Mr. Gay, and Mr. Nava are not going to be able to make it this evening. But it looks like I'm guessing the lobby should be open. So good luck to you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yep, we'll catch y'all
Yeah.
next week.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Definitely. Thanks for inviting me and having me